Well, hello,
Wow.
everyone.
How did you do that? You timed it like more than perfectly. I don't know what just happened. Go on, roll with the show.
Hey, man, don't underestimate my abilities. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for joining a very special edition of Go Live. That's right. It's the GameOnDaily crew exclusive. Does that mean I couldn't just find guests? No, maybe yes, but no. This is something we have been planning to do for a while because, well, we kind of gave you a clue last week, but in fact, we're testing some things. So just that's it. Thank you for joining us. It's going to be an epic show. I hope you got to watch the Source video earlier. If you haven't, watch it later. We're going to get into some saucy topics. I normally introduce guests here, but, well, it's just family. Well, let's just start with Hoggy. Hoggy! Oh, you know what? Come on. It's just us. I don't have to feel nervous. I would never feel nervous, but, you know, I feel like this is family. Hoggy! How are you doing, man?
Pretty good, pretty good. Been playing a little bit of that in the new Halo season. That was pretty cool. And playing some other games, of course. But yeah, happy to be here.
I'm happy that you're here. I'm happy that you're here. Thank you for joining us, Familia. And part of the Familia is the co-founder and co-host, Asa. No, wait. Asa! Why don't you get auto-tune? Just because you hate it doesn't mean I can't do it.
Yeah, thanks for that. I'm tired and I'm equal parts grumpy and beautiful, and I regret not really thinking about what I was going to say as my intro, but yes, here we are. Games and things.
Wait, listen, you did a great job as a news. You're a perfect news anchor. I loved it. That was so good. The delivery was perfect. All I just gave him was a script, killed it. You are a news guy. I think you're in the wrong profession. But yeah, absolutely. That was a crazy video. Apologies it came out so late, everyone. I intended to get it released earlier, but I had some issues, family, personal stuff. But we're here to talk gaming. Thank you so much. 104 people. If you're not bots, then thank you for watching. Smash the like button. We're going to get into the source. I see a lot of sexy people. People are listening on Spotify and Apple. I'm alluding to our YouTube audience, but thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully I will minimize the auto tune. Although Asa, in that source video where I was playing, let's call him the Oracle, I was just like, I'm gonna piss Asa off. I'm just gonna do the whole thing auto tune with this guy who was supposed to just have reverb. But yeah, thank you everyone. I see you all in the chat. Special shout out to all the channel members. You keep the lights on, and there are a lot of lights, a lot of neon lights. I hope this doesn't go out of fashion soon, because then we'd have to redo the whole thing. But yeah, big news this week. More consolidation, and despite how many people cry about it, how much more evidence do you need that the industry is changing? Consolidation is here, whether or not Microsoft wants to dip its toes into it. And just because it's biting off a big chunky pie, it's actually still got one of the smaller pieces of pie, because the big pie belongs to one of these people, or the groups, the Embracer Group. A lot of people don't know about the Embracer Group. The Embracer Group owns a ton. I pressed 2 buttons of studios. It's only 2 buttons. Why do I keep getting it wrong? But yeah, they own a hell of a lot of studios. And this is big news. This came out left field on a Monday or a Sunday. When did it come out?
Yep.
I think it was the Monday.
Sunday night.
Was it Sunday night? Oh, wow. Well, that's pretty crazy. That's
like
pretty
like Monday morning for the Japan or something like that. It was like 2 in the morning or something like that on my time. So
it's mad. It's crazy. The Embracer Group has bought multiple studios. And, you know, for a while we were talking about the fact that it would be perhaps Sony who would do it. But they've acquired the big Western, and there's a lot to unpack here, but they've then acquired the big Western studios like Eidos, Crystal Dynamics, Square Enix Montreal, and more. And because this is us three of us, I need to shut the up. And Asa, what's your take on it? Lead with it. This is the familiar. Why do I have to talk so much shit? Just go for it. Go for it.
Goodness, you're giving me such a headache there. I was just like, shut up, guys. Yeah, no, no, it's all good. They bought those 3 studios, like you say. It was very much unexpected. Nobody even, like, there've been rumors about various things. Crystal Dynamics and Xbox had been a big rumor going around for a lot of people just because of the working relationship they've got with the Initiative and Perfect Dark. So a lot of people were anticipating that was some kind of trial run or attempts to inflate Crystal Dynamics value before they get cozy. And a lot of other people looking at Square Enix as a publisher that needed some sort of rescue, and kind of, and this bit's still kind of true, but they have a natural fit with Sony, perhaps, in that they've always had Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, things like that. You can argue like those are equally Nintendo franchises, but generally quintessentially Japanese, and even more so because they got rid of their Western studios. Everybody knows that Square Enix hate their Western studios or disrespect them or set ridiculous targets for them, and have personally complained on this show repeatedly about the way Square Enix do a lot of things. So this,
you did,
yeah. So this move is massively positive for everyone involved, as far as I'm concerned, because those 3 studios is obviously better for them. They've got an owner that's more likely to treat them well and set realistic targets and let them make the games they want to make. It's good for Square Enix because they can focus on the things that they have historically perhaps been able to get right. And I like certain Japanese RPGs, certain games of theirs. I'm wearing a Final Fantasy t-shirt right now. It's encouraging in that they're a company that needed to refocus. Discouraging that their focus might perhaps be NFTs and nonsense, but encouraging as well. And it leaves lots of room for speculation on what's going to happen next. What's going to happen next, Hagi?
Well, that's an interesting question, right? So, I mean, this part I'm kind of concerned about, actually. I don't know if Embracer, I mean, they have a bunch of AAA games coming out now, but can they actually handle the financial load to keep them? Like, they just started their new games now, right? So that means at least 3, if not more, years of paying 1,000 developers, right, that they just got on. Now they have like 10,000 or 14,000 employees total, but 10,000 developers on games, right? Something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, 10,000. It's crazy.
So maybe they can, but they had to actually take loans to buy this. It seemed like a steal to me, anyways. $300 million for 1,000 developers.
Yeah,
plus
well, just a little extra context for what you're saying. You can carry on with your point, but just when you're talking about the value and how they've anticipated it, Embracer. So in their own text or whatever about it, their reveal of the deal, they obviously bought them for $300 million. Like you say, that was financed by Swedish investment banks, as far as I know, something along those lines. They've borrowed a lot of money to do it. There's talk that they've taken on a bit of debt from those studios as well, but we don't really know the details on that. In their own due diligence, they expect those companies to turn or to break even within 2 years, just based on their games that are already out there. And some alluding that there might be some other deals in the works to get a little bit more out of them as well. But
yeah, I mean, one cool thing they do have is that, they already have a deal in place with Microsoft, right, to make Perfect Dark. So that at least takes part of the load away from Embracer having to pay those people, because they got to be covered, right? So at least that's got to be something that helps with this deal. But yeah, it is an interesting thing. Like, is this better or worse for them? Certainly, like, this, the thing that they've run into is their games are critically great, right? So a lot of the games that came out, they were great. They just don't get a market share that's big enough, and that has been their issue, right? And the thing that would have potentially fixed that was either being in Spartacus or being in Game Pass. That didn't necessarily happen here. However, that doesn't mean that Embracer behind the scenes already worked a deal to have it in one of those services. That's a potential we don't know about, right? So it could be that they're actually planning to do a day and date, and they're like, we want upfront cash for that, and make that happen. It's a possibility. I don't know.
There's another. Right? So while you're on that, there is the other thing that they said on the same page, as they mentioned this company potentially breaking even within 2 years. The last point on there is that they may be able to get increased revenue if they make deals with one or more other platform holders. So yeah, what you're alluding to there, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that might be the thing, and that's why they've got a plan of attack here to make sure that they can fund these folks and actually get something out of it. It'd be interesting to see if they use some of the older IP too, right? They just got 50 of them. Maybe they can do something with that. It doesn't have to be, these 3 studios doing some. One of them is a kind of a mobile-focused studio, right? But it could be that they have so many other studios that they could hand off some of this stuff to other studios to go do something. It is a very interesting move, and I'm curious if Sony, Tencent, Microsoft tried, or they're locked in other things and they can't, right? Because Sony has Bungie to deal with, and Microsoft, of course, ABK. Are they just locked down and they can't do this? Is that why this happened? Or did they try to make bids and they're like, they were too low, and or did they just say, yeah, we don't care, we don't want this? Like, it's all interesting.
That's a good question.
Right.
That's a good question. I don't know, Ace, you look like you were about to say something there.
No, I was allowing you to say something because you were going to. So those studios in particular they've got a fairly strong back catalogue, but of IPs that don't necessarily hold massive value in today's market. So Deus Ex and things like that have a bit of a cult following, but they're not big names that are instantly going to guarantee sales. Avengers has obviously been a significant factor in the way that these studios have performed for Square Enix. There's been talk of $200 million of losses just on that one particular game. That game is apparently still going to run. I'm not sure. I don't actually know what's happened with the ownership of that one, who's running it from here on out, if it's still Crystal Dynamics, if they're doing that for Square Enix, or if they're going to be getting other people on it. The IPs and things are obviously Marvel, and they haven't gone across in any capacity. So, yeah, I don't know about Avengers. The studios and their games, like the Tomb Raider games, I've said about Crystal Dynamics loads of times, they're a phenomenal studio. And the Tomb Raider rebooted trilogy, especially the first one, were great games. And it's not so much that the word that Square Enix would be is that they didn't meet expectations and they underperformed, but they were well-recognized games and played by a lot of people. It's just Square Enix expected more and more and more, always more from the Western studios. So Embracer is an interesting one as a thing, though, because they're massive. They've got, my numbers might be wrong because I'm not reading them from a sheet or anything. This is from the news on Monday, but they've got like 124 studios. I think they said they're making about 30 AAA games, but also, so yeah, it's a lot of studios, but a lot of those studios are tiny because they're making, from those 124 studios, they're making like 250 games or something. 30 of them they're saying are going to be AAA, and these 3 new studios are a big part of that for them because Embracer haven't really been AAA up to this point. But as an owner, like the main example of them that we've got really is Gearbox. So they've got a lot of smaller studios. Gearbox has been one of their kind of flagship ones. Flagship, the sheep with the flag that represents everything important about gaming. So their flagship is like, I mean, Tiny Tina's has been. There's nothing too malicious in it. I haven't played it myself. I think both of you have. Is it full of anything nasty that implies that Embracer are a problem? Gaz, you can take that.
Wait, I just noticed Flush Jackson's got a new Flush. When did Flush become a member of the thing? I didn't see. He must have done it in the background. Congratulations, Flush. You joined the elite crew. Sorry, what was the question? I was distracted there.
Embracer, Tiny Tina's. Is it like filled with anything sinister? Have Embracer done us dirty, like with the studios they've already got?
I don't. Well, to be perfectly honest, Embrace is a bit of a no-go, unknown really, other than Gearbox. And I think the way you summed it up was really good when you're saying they're kind of into the AAA space now with this acquisition, and it kind of put them in the limelight. But the one thing I was interested in the press release, and it seemed like the people at Square were really jubilant about it. You can read through the text of it all, but they mentioned this point about it being decentralized. What does that mean? What do you mean, like in terms of leadership structure? What's going on there? There's independent, like what Microsoft does with
You're gonna have to help me out. I didn't actually see Square Enix what they said about this. What's decentralized? They're saying that that's a problem that they've addressed now, or that's something that they're trying to get into.
No, so let me just find it while I'm going there. It's just on our website. But it's basically they were pointing to the fact that it's why it had to be an IGN article? It's bloody auto-playing videos. Why do you have auto-playing videos? GameSpot, well, you suck. Stop doing that stuff. And IGN's doing the same. But sorry, I digress. But yeah, they were talking about it being decentralized. That's the Embracer group. So embraces the best kept secret in gaming. This is them saying it, by the way. It's Square Enix. Let me read the quote. Best kept secret in gaming, a massive can I do this all in autotune? No, okay. A massive decentralized collection of entrepreneurs who we are thrilled. So a massive decentralized collection of entrepreneurs who we are thrilled to become a part of the industry, a part of today. It is perfect fit to our ambitions, making high quality games with great people, substantial blah blah. All of it's crap. Not crap, sorry. All of it's fluff. And the Embracer allows us to forge new partnerships. Blah, blah, blah. It's okay. It's all fluff there. Apart from the fact that they said a massive decentralized collection of entrepreneurs. I don't know how that's decentralized. They just have their own islands.
Like I don't know what that means, but I thought they were weren't they in Sweden or something? But isn't this THQ? I thought this was THQ, and they renamed themselves, and so they've had AAA stuff, right? That's why they have 30 games coming. Like Saints Row, isn't that them? I thought that was them. The Kingdoms of Amalur, they have that as well. I don't know if you would consider that AAA or not, but they have other. Yeah, so they've had other bigger games, right? So, and Tiny Tina's is an interesting one because I think 2K still published that. Maybe that was a prior engagement deal or something like that. Yet it is their game, right? Gearbox is part of Embracer. So I don't know if that becomes themselves publishing later, or maybe that's what they do with all their games. I don't know if they're publishing through other publishers. I mean, you would figure they're big enough that they should publish their own stuff, right? So I think they do have other big games, but I don't know what the decentralized thing means, because it would be interesting to understand how they could actually take 124 studios and actually manage that, right? That's got to be near impossible to do, but I guess if you're that big, maybe you figure it out. That's a lot of studios, right? We're worried about Xbox will have 30, they have 23, 24, whatever it is today, and they're like, can they manage those studios, right? And this is 124, and they're adding a few more. And part of their loan, they're saying, well, we're getting more money so we can buy more. So they're going to be getting more studios. So they are becoming kind of big. They're still, I mean, financially, they're not that big, but they are getting a lot of studios. And from a market share perspective of studios, they have a lot.
Purple Tree Frog in the chat. You don't have to apologize. It was your article that you submitted to GameOnDaily. People don't know this. We're a news aggregation platform, so whoever submits the news could be you. We publish it, and I've just linked it in chat. That was Purple Tree Frog submitting the breaking news as it went hot. So don't apologize for that. But one thing that's come out of it, I really do need to play the new Lara Croft actually, is the fact that people. Asa, you said this ages ago. You've been saying it for a few times. Like, it's odd how they get shafted by their publishers. There was an air of like disagreement and very public kind of discourse there about that kind of distaste amongst each other.
There's levels to that as well, because you have their typical behavior, which they applied to Tomb Raider and to Outriders and things like that. It's just to huff and puff that these games didn't sell as much as they want. But Avengers was it came across really badly what Square Enix said. Their president came out and said, well, Crystal Dynamics are clearly the wrong fit for a game like this, and took no responsibility on his own part for that, or the way that Square Enix pushed this game to be, because Avengers has elements that are fantastic. Like, visually and technically it's fantastic. The campaign is good to a point until it shoehorns live service into the campaign, and it's like, this isn't Crystal Dynamics' fault, and you need to take responsibility. Obviously they don't need to take responsibility. They need to break up with Crystal Dynamics and get on with things that they actually care for.
So can you say that quite confidently, that it's a publisher decision there, the way Avengers was structured with live service? Disclaimer, like, I haven't spoken to them, but it's generally accepted that that's a push from Square Enix and not from Crystal Dynamics. I don't know why I say it's not my birthday, because someone actually asked, is it actually Gaz's birthday? Then you got suck. But sorry, Hoggy, what were you saying?
Yeah, so this is an interesting one, right? There's also a cultural divide here, right? So Japan, it depends on your company, and a lot of the normal corporate world in Japan, it's still very hierarchical. So having a Western studio. I mean, our normal is that we just talk normally and we can say, well, oh no, I disagree with that. That isn't very normal in Japanese culture. So for them to respond, which they did, Crystal Dynamics, like we made a good game. We don't know what they're talking about. That is like unexpected, right? So it depends on the culture. Some of them are very, normal Western, right? But a lot of them are not, right? So that could have been enough for them to say, all right, you're done. I don't want to even deal with you anymore. You're disrespectful. Go away. Right. So the 300 million just boggles my mind. Like in this market, they could have easily gotten more. I think they just wanted to get rid of them. Like go away. And I don't know if there were enough suitors that were willing to pay enough. And they're like, okay,
I find that hard to believe, Huggy. Do you really think no one would want to buy them?
So again, I don't know the internals of whether it was feasible for a Microsoft or Sony to buy them. So that's
feasible for Xbox to buy them.
Yeah, because of where they are. Obviously, money-wise, both of them have the money. That's not a problem, right? It's just they're entangled in current acquisitions. So I don't know if they could go make another one yet right now. So I think they were kind of off the table. One of them might decide, hey, I would love to do that, but get back to me in 6 months or a year. And they're like, well, we would have to fund these studios for that long, and we don't want to do it. Right. So we want to get rid of them. Right. Because once that starts, that's still another, whatever number of months, year or so before it finalizes. Right. So this isn't done yet. It's still going to go through all the approval process and all that. Right. So whenever that's completed, it's still that much time they're paying salaries. And I think they just wanted out. They're like, OK, you guys just aren't for us. We don't want to deal with you culturally. You just don't fit. Right. And I think that's what it seems kind of sudden and weird because you would think you could probably get $1 billion for this. Right. That many IPs. Right. But like Bungie sold 2 IPs plus 1,000 people. It's about the same. 3.6 billion. Right. And
it doesn't make sense. That's the thing. Right? It doesn't make sense. The value of it just doesn't marry up. Even if all the debt and the bad performance of the game, the talent is. I mean, the quality of the games is really up there, and I find it hard to believe. I really think Microsoft would have bought them if they could. The problem is it can't because it's deadlocked.
The thing with that, though, is I absolutely could have this entirely wrong because I struggle with remembering real timelines that have just happened. But Crystal Dynamics was surely up for sale before Activision Blizzard were in the picture and available, because the Activision Blizzard thing, much as it's taken a long time from the point that it was announced, it happened very quickly, and it was an act of opportunity rather than something that was pre-planned. Like all this stuff came out and then Phil went knocking. Crystal Dynamics and Avengers happened before that, so they must have been available. You can't dismiss bad performance as a factor in the price. Because if you're looking at buying a company and they're making losses, then it is going to be a hard sell in any boardroom, no matter how good the games are. And talent is a difficult one because when you're buying a studios, you're only to a degree you're buying the talent, but to an extent you're absolutely not, because that talent can leave, which is why Sony are paying Bungie a bonus $1.2 billion to keep the staff there, to keep that value in there. So I mean, to us, we know that these are quality studios. We love to play games, and it is a weird one that it's gone for the price that it has in that sense. But at the same time, performance matters. Figuring out how to integrate these studios with their projects in pipelines matters. And they must have. I mean, the value is the value. There would have been other people buying it for more if it was worth more. So
100%. That's the thing. And it's not like they're quite shrewd businessmen to the point where they would publicly rebuke their studio. So of course they would have. And you're absolutely right in bringing up but the potential of them being floated before EBK's deal for quite some time. Yeah, absolutely. Let me read these super chats that have been very generously been forthcoming. Jay the Up, shout out to you, says, "Hey guys, what's worse than ants in your pants? Uncles." Is that a joke I'm not getting?
Yeah, you don't want to go into that joke, please. No, it's an uncles in your pants is worse than ants in your pants. You probably just want to stick there.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Sorry, I had to spell that out for Gaz because he's getting there.
Sorry, I thought I was missing something. I didn't know it literally. You would
have been better off if I hadn't cleared it up for you.
Why, Asa? Why did you clear that up? Yodani, shout out to you for being a member for 8 months. He goes, shout out to the forever physical folks. You guys were right, kind of right. Seriously though, not being able to play my digital games yesterday sucked. That's a great point. It's actually a different topic there that we'll kind of go into. Well, can kind of go into now before we talk about the next one. Before I do that, let me just finally read these super chats. Jigga J, shout out to you. Thank you for the $5 super chat to show my appreciation for an awesome source vid. That's very sweet and generous of you. Thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I don't know. I was very nervous. I'm always nervous when I release these and think whether or not people find them funny or not, because my sense of humor is crazy, which means all of you are crazy, because if you find it funny, that's great. It's only just begun. I want to do a source video a week, but yeah, it just gets scope creep. Dub, thank you for being a member for 3 months. He says, does the panel think Xbox was really looking to pick up the initiative? Perfect doll. The initiative.
I assume Crystal Dynamics. Yeah,
I assume Crystal Dynamics. The initiative does belong to Xbox. But we talked about that. We talked about that just now. But the answer is, my opinion, yes. I think so. I think the Crystal Dynamics would have been this. Microsoft is missing. I think Cole Eastwood did a video on this some time ago, where he was talking about the fact that Microsoft needs the big AAA single player kind of games. These studios are perfect for that. Perfect, made for it. So Microsoft would have definitely bought it. They're just at a stalemate. It's so interesting, this whole consolidation war, because Microsoft has gone for the jugular with Activision Blizzard, a deal that may or may not actually end up going through. And whilst this is happening at a critical time, it allows a smaller, more agile Sony to start navigating and mobilizing to do stuff. Although it's hindered by its smaller wallet. But this week we found out the FTC are now pointing their lasers at the whole Bungie thing, which is quite interesting. Now FTC is getting really aggressive. If that's the case, then what chance does the ABK deal have for going through? I don't know. This is actually what Jason Schreier was trying to say but he ended up being a no, he didn't. Well, maybe he did. I don't know. A bit too harsh on him. Jason, if you're watching this, shut the no, I'm just kidding. Am I? No, Shabs, thank you so much for the £5 super chat. I'm glad it was Embracer rather than Sony. At least there's a chance for the games to be multi-platform. Also, happy birthday, happy Gaza Day. Thank you, Shabs. Well, you say that, but it was actually Sony that broke the mold with Bungie and Destiny being multi-platform and all future Bungie games. We can't give them the whole narrative where we used to keep saying, if it's Sony, there's no chance in hell of this being multi-platform. I think that's gone down the toilet. Well, Bungie's a special case because it's a live service, multi-platform game, live service kind of game, multiplayer. They want to really capitalize on it. But that's me being a bit, I don't know. What do you guys think of that, by the way? Just like, we kept saying it for ages. Sony studios will never appear on other consoles. They're so bad and evil. Yet they led the charge, did they not?
No, they announced that a few days after the Call of Duty thing. You couldn't really say that they led the charge on it, but it's really difficult to say. Yeah, they were more assertive in their language, perhaps, but Microsoft had already said the Call of Duty was multi-platform a few days prior, and I'm not saying that Sony were responding to what Microsoft did, because that's just not how it works, like in that kind of capacity and speed. It wasn't a response, but in terms of leading, like it was already happening elsewhere. The Sony and Bungie one, it's really difficult to know if they were sensing change in the air in terms of getting things approved, whether they felt that they needed to make these multi-platforms, or whether they just knew that they wanted to capitalize on what is a live service thing. And it's highly likely that all of their big live service games are going to follow the same model and be multi-platform, just because those games live and breathe by having an audience. But
great point.
The FTC investigating that one, it could be completely false. I don't know what the FTC kind of threshold is, but I heard that it was much, much lower than that value. They'll look into any deal in any industry.
Oh, really?
At a much lower value than that. So it's not necessarily, I mean, I really don't think that there's any threat on that one going through. I don't think many people are too concerned about it, but the FTC do look at everything over a certain value, and that's what they're doing there.
Yeah, definitely. Jay the Up said, thank you for the $5 super chat. Sorry about the joke. Don't have to apologize. It was brilliant. You got me. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Microsoft buy Gears for $400 million? Compare that to the Crystal Dynamics buyout. How much did they buy off Epic for? Is that really the case?
They didn't buy out Epic. They just bought,
buy out the IP from Epic.
From Epic, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the case.
I read it on the internet just now. It's definitely true.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. It's fact. It's pretty crazy. I think the deal ultimately will end up being a steal. Even if it comes with baggage and buying the debt, and there may be some provisos in there for performance-based stuff. Blah 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 blah. Ultimately, you have to kind of have confidence in the talent that you're acquiring. And I think the talent there are really good. That's not someone who hasn't played Avengers or Spider-Man. But I think it speaks for itself. But yeah, let's see. I mean, that's quite interesting. Before we go into the next topic, shout out to the 213 people watching the show. Smash the like button. Smash it. I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you're enjoying the source. And as of yesterday, and well, there's something we've been speculating for a while, but a lot of multiple sources, multiple journos are now espousing that Sony are looking to buy Square Enix. That's it. They let's just shave the fat. That's a bit disrespectful for the Western studios, but as far as Square can see, they shaved the fat, got rid of the studios that they weren't friendly with, and now ripe for the taking for PlayStation. And I think, considering the fact that no one's actually anticipated any real acquisition, unless Blue Point? Okay, fine, that was a bit obvious. But most big ones, no one has predicted. Who predicted this? So, but this one, I think has some teeth to it. Hoggy, do you think it's going to happen? Square Enix by Sony, and if so, is that good yet?
I mean, it's totally possible, right? Square. We were thinking more of what should they get to fill out their their catalog of different genres, but they seem very content with the third-person action adventure game, right? So that may be just the way they want to go. And a lot of the games that they've worked on with Square, that they have exclusivity deals with, they're pretty much standard fare on their systems anyway. So maybe they're like just seeing it like the organic thing that they like with, this is just stuff that is very common for us and our customers like it. So let's just make that official, instead of going after new things that they may not have in their catalog. And look, they're also looking at live service games. Square does have Final Fantasy 14. Is that the online one? Yeah. So so that does give them that as well. So why not, right? It is a potential good potential for the marriage, I guess, of things that they already kind of have a lot of association with. So it is a viable thing for them. So we'll see. Maybe it is happening. The thing that you're mentioning though is it being leaked. This is a publicly traded company that becomes a problem. So I'm actually I'm not sure it could happen because of that. Like that could create some insider trading headaches. So somebody, if they did leak it, that's not good. It's not a good thing.
Yeah. So, I think we mentioned this last week as well. When people don't understand, these things are very sensitive. If it's just based on speculation, and let's be honest, a lot of journalists talk shit, just speculate out their arse, but that's fine. But if it is what you said, and that's a great point to make there.
I think Square has some other business interests as well, right? So it could be that they're saying, hey, we'll just buy the gaming part and leave the rest alone, much like the deal they just did with Embracer, at which point it may not be as big of a deal. It's it's just a cash transaction at that point, and maybe there isn't a purchase buyout of their stock, in which case it does cut down some of that potential headache. But I don't know. Right? So it is viable, though. It certainly could be a potential option, right, that they would look at. bringing on Square. They certainly have enough a business relationship with them, so why not, right? It is a potential. Is it a good thing? I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, right? So, they do have like the Kingdom Hearts series. They've always had kind of more association with PlayStation, and to that matter, it's also on Switch or on Nintendo, right? So that could be problematic, but I guess it being locked there, fine, whatever. So.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I'm gonna. Issa, what's your before you say that though? It's auto-tune time, rip snore time. Thank you so much for being a member of GameOnDaily. Yeah, the army grows. It's brilliant. Before you know it, all the fake news will be cancelled because it's us, you controlling the news. Thank you so much, Issa. I think it'd be a waste of money buying Square. Actually, I don't know. I'm a bit torn. They're pretty much in bed with each other as it is. Xbox really does struggle with JRPGs in terms of selling those anyway in Japan. Well, Sony hasn't got that much money. Would it make sense to buy these, or instead just enter into third-party deals as it does?
No, it would. To me, it would make a lot of sense, particularly if they're trying to build up their resilience against a service like Game Pass. Obviously, like getting Square Enix, they could put content on their rival service. That's an option. But if they want to go more towards the Nintendo route and keep these high-value purchased games, Final Fantasy as a series that they clearly love, Kingdom Hearts for the people that I don't get that series at all, but don't hate me, people that love it. I know it's got a massive following of people that adore whatever the hell it is, and Dragon Quest and things like that. They've got games that Sony would do very well with, and in terms of the Japanese market, it's not PlayStation against Xbox so much as PlayStation against Nintendo. So they're Dragon Quest is on both. They do lock up a lot of deals with Square Enix, a lot of time stuff, and you pay as you go, or you just buy them and lock down Final Fantasy forever very publicly. I don't know. Like, it makes some sense there. At the same time, Square Enix have talked about how they're streamlining and they want to focus some of this money on NFTs and stuff. And as far as, like, from their perspective, it looks like they are trying to cut off the dead weight of the Western studios that never meet their expectations. So it doesn't necessarily mean that they're trying to get bought or to sell any more of the gaming parts of their business, right? They might actually just want to focus on what they're doing, what they like. It was interesting, about a week before Embracer announced it, Square Enix was saying that they didn't feel like Japanese developers trying to make Western games really particularly worked, like they couldn't do it effectively, which is encouraging because Final Fantasy 15 and arguably 13 as well tried very much to appeal to Western audiences, and they were terrible games as a result, as far as I'm concerned. They had some redeeming qualities, but they were not good Final Fantasy games for me. So I'd like to see Square Enix focus on Japanese games properly. I don't really care if they're owned by Sony or not.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be good. I think if I was Sony, though, to counter my own point, I think it would make sense in where we're entering a very interesting watershed moment this gen, where whatever the studios acquire will shape the future of what the gaming landscape is going to be. So this is make or break time for, particularly for PlayStation, I think, which will be, I'm not saying it's in trouble. I'm saying it'll be absolutely fine. It is the market leader after all. But I think when you're listening to you about, really just nailing the association, there's a lot there. You can't quantify what the value is, but saying Final Fantasy, the home, PlayStation is the home of Final Fantasy. I mean, that's quite a big thing, and that'll be great. I think it'll be very interesting. I hope it's true, actually, because I want to see a little bit of something interesting, some fire lit in the industry. I think the Bungie acquisition makes no sense to me for the value. I know it makes sense, but I just think Sony were desperate there. They were desperate there, and Bungie got an amazing deal. It will make sense for them later on financially, I'm sure, but that's a necessity. This one might be a more of a, just mindshare wise, it'll be quite a big one.
I feel the need to remind you on Bungie. I feel the need to remind you of Sony's previous live service efforts, in that they don't really have any successful ones. So when you talk about necessity,
that's what I mean when I say desperation. That's what I'm alluding to. They really, through lack of really good output in that regard, that's why they're desperate, and they never got their Halo killer. which is ironic because Halo ended up killing itself. Oh, sorry. I'm just kidding.
Oh, wow.
Halo stats. Purple Tree Frog, thank you for the £5 super chat. Goes, what did you think of Square saying they wanted to invest in blockchain and crypto stuff just prior to the market crashing? I don't understand why companies believe in blockchain so much. I believed in it back when, when Ripple was going up and I spent thousands and it crashed then, and then it went up again. So one thing about crypto is it's so volatile. The market crash is time, possibly, this is bad financial advice, but it's time to buy, because I had a lot of Bitcoin at sub 10K and I sold it at loss. Then it went up to 60K and I'm like, I could have made so much money. So don't think it's crashed. But as far as Square investing in that, it's one of those things like NFTs. I don't get it. Like what is the utility?
By the way, if you're thinking like, damn, this guy's is rich, we don't need to support this channel. He's been eating dried noodles since that day.
I have, but I love dried noodles. And yeah, I lost a lot of money on that. That's ridiculous. Everyone, I'm sure people in chat, you were there. You must have bought Ripple. You must have bought all of that. That was 2018 or something then. Crazy. Oh my God. Using Binance was horrible. Let's just SDLTs, PTSD, just there. So yeah, no, absolutely. Well, see what happens to Square Enix. We'll find out soon enough. There's going to be a lot more acquisitions coming between now, I think, and this summer. We're going to hear of it. We did say it like 2 weeks ago. Wait for it. Things are happening, and it really is. Yeah. So
that purchase, I think, will be an interesting one if it goes through, right? Because
the Square Enix with PlayStation.
Yes, I mean we don't want to accept the reality that so all those games are pretty much locked to PlayStation, right now, right? So if I wanted to buy, play Final Fantasy 15, where am I going to play it in Japan? I'm going to use a PlayStation because that's really all they have, right? So effectively, it is a monopoly in that market, and that's who's going to determine.
Every time you say the monopoly now, and with Ace
but
in
it is.
the room,
You can't deny it, right? It's a 99% monopoly, right? There's very little Xbox where you can also play that game.
There is a Switch where you can play.
But the
not
Switch
Final
does not
Fantasy,
have that game.
No, but Dragon Quest and things, right?
Some of them
and
are,
even
but
then,
some of them
arguably, you can still say it is a monopoly. If there's only two competitors, then that is in that territory. So,
but that's the problem, right? So in Japan, would that become a problem, right? So they have to weigh that, right? So if we're thinking ABK is such a big deal, why wouldn't that be a big deal to Japan, right? You're taking any potential competition away for that.
Do we have any experts on Japanese business market regulations and anti-competitive practices?
It's an interesting question, right? It's an interesting question.
Yeah, I don't know. Right? In terms of Western ideals on monopolies, yeah, I guess that's a fair point.
But I don't think there's any. They don't have anything left in the West now, right?
No, I'm saying our perspective on monopolies and in terms of what the mandate really, or whatever the rules are in Japan. But I think so. To summarize, you think that any anti-compete rules or whatever.
Yeah, it could be interesting. I don't know if they're just like, it doesn't matter in Japan. But it's
I don't think Japanese people would even care. I mean, the Switch is kind of seen as a companion console as well, and then you can't really do kind of unless you cloud stream a lot of these games on the console like that. So, but it's a good question because how Japan strongly weighs in favor of the Switch over even home consoles. So there could be a potential.
But the gaming that goes on there is not the same, and that's the problem, right? So if Nintendo can finally come up with something that competes in the AAA space, that would be fantastic. That would eliminate that problem for Sony. But right now, that is a headache for them, right? So if they had to pick something up in EU, I don't know how easy that's going to be for them. They're already market dominant. That's just the way it is, right? So. If they went after Embracer, for instance, I don't see that going through.
Yeah. Oh no. Well, that's definitely not going to go through. Sauron Grant with a lovely super chat. Thank you so much for that. He goes, I don't have anything interesting to say, but just wanted to turn on super thanks on YouTube. But if you turn on, that's the feature that I got an email about that. Then I can show my appreciation for her content. When I saw that, I thought, who would want to do that? Does it seem really greedy if I turn that on? We desperately need the money, but does that mean like it's greedy? I just like, okay, I'll turn it on. If I turn it on and you feel like supporting it, I'm very, very grateful. But please know that even with super chats, I'm grateful. We're all very grateful for every single one, no matter what the value. But thank you so much, Soren Grant. That's very lovely of you to do that. There's good people out there to do that. But yeah, so enough Square Enix and enough acquisition talk. A lot of it's like guessing. Although I just wanted to see a fight between Monopoly talk. I love that. You know, I love the source. But I was going to talk about, okay, so this outage, like I wasn't, this is how much of a fraud I am. I wasn't playing Xbox the last 12 hours. I was playing it earlier. I was playing Prototype 2 again. It's amazing. But the thing went down. Xbox DRM, the reality is here. Whether you like it or not, the DRM exists. Now, I know you're going to say, oh, no, if you set your home console, blah, 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 blah. Long story short, Xbox's online services went down for 12 hours. No one could play their games, even games that were single-player games. Remember when Gran Turismo went down we couldn't play the single-player mode for I don't know how long?
A day or two, yeah.
This is the whole Xbox, yeah. And this is pretty crazy. Now, I think, Asa, correct me if I'm wrong, people couldn't access it because they were game sharing and the consoles accounts were switched. Like me and Colt game share. That means me and him wouldn't be able to play, right?
That's illegal. It's not illegal. It's a little bit grey. It's definitely not illegal. You're okay to say it, I think. Xbox have kind of said it's okay, I think. There's one of the backing tracks that you selected has a little whisper in my left ear, and it always makes me go, who's there? And I hate it. And I hate you for putting it in the list. I don't hate you. That's
really?
a strong word.
I think I know which one you're talking about, and I'm going to remove it. I'm going to get new tracks.
You
I don't barely
actually
hear
can't
it
remove it. It's fine. So,
okay.
What was the question? It was a really interesting question. Oh, DRM. So I wasn't around for the day that this went on, so I wasn't personally impacted at all. But people lost access to, especially like for certain, if you were game sharing, you lost access to everything that you would expect to have access to because the whole home console licensing thing. I think most people probably know what's going on there. If you don't, then say in chat and we can go into it. But also, everybody lost access to Game Pass for that period of time because you don't own those games. And it kind of goes back to what I've said whenever Xbox start trumpeting game preservation. I've always said there's two parts to game preservation. Old games is one part of game preservation, and the other part is what you're doing with current games. So if you're going to talk about it, mean it. If you want game preservation, online DRM is not it. It's just not. No matter how confident the Xbox team are in Xbox existing going forwards, anything can happen, and that's not game preservation. That's the opposite. So it's a shame in that sense. And I've also always said, for me, preservation is less important than innovation, right? So if they want to do a proper version of Crackdown with massive cloud features and you can't play that when your Xbox is offline, I'm all for that. Give me innovation. But if the game can be played offline, if it's a single player game that should be played offline, it should work offline. Simple as. You shouldn't need an internet connection within any time period. So that's my opinion on that thing anyway. But
yeah. What's your take on it, Hoggy? Xbox up, man. DRM. Don Matrick is back. Don Matrick is back.
Well, look, it is what it is, right? This is going to happen. There are outages that happens. There are more devastating outages if it's like the entire AWS is down or something like that, or Azure is down, right? This happens.
Yeah,
it's gonna
play
happen.
Fortnite.
Yeah. But look, as far as preservation, that's a whole other discussion. I suppose if you have the disc, you can put it in your console and hopefully that theoretically works. But that isn't guaranteed either. A lot of games kind of have built-in online needs and they just kind of work that way. And some publishers decided they're going to do online no matter what, even if it's a single player game, right? They want to do that anyway. So it is what it is. I don't know if that's going to always be, if there's ever going to be a time where it's not going to need online, I think you're going to kind of have to deal with that. I mean, that's just, I don't know if that's, do you find that that's a need in other areas, right? If you had a cell phone and you said, look, I need to be able to do everything offline, would that make sense?
Not everything, but some things, fundamental things I want to be able to.
What would those things be, and how useful would it be, right? So it is interesting, to look at, right? Is that a viable thing to do? And if you're doing console sharing, well, your home console may not have everything. That's kind of the point, right? So that is how they were trying to get around it. Your home console can have licenses locked to that console. So, but yeah, it is what it is. I don't know if this is that big of a deal or not, but there are outages. They're going to happen. It's annoying. I was trying to play games too, and I don't use that. I do the same thing with home sharing, but it's in my home. I actually have a console in another room that has my account as my Xbox, so that they have access to everything, and then I just log into mine. So I lost access to all my games. But you just deal with it. Whatever, it is what it is, right? So.
There's a couple of things.
Deal with it. This Don Matrick is back. Deal with it.
There's a 360 for that. If you want to play your games, just crack out the 360, go on a submarine, play Halo.
360 had some digital games, right? So
it did. I was just harkening back to the Don Matrick But for me, preservation is. It's honestly not that important. I appreciate the perspective of the people that do want that, right? And there isn't really an excuse for single player games to go away. I will say Microsoft's licensing on the PC side is a lot more generous than it is on the Xbox side, but this is largely going to be down to third party relations. If you get something on the PC, it's it lists out what you've got entitlements wise, and it'll be you can use this software on 10 devices. There's no home, 10 devices. But you try and sell that down the river to EA, Take-Two, whatever. Someone's got Grand Theft Auto 6, we want them to be able to play it on 10 devices, and the answer is no. So they're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place on that one. But they do have some leverage, so let's see what they can push in future. And like I say, game preservation, two-pronged, not just old games, current games as well. If they're going to talk the talk, then walk the walk as well. That's all I have to say on that, really.
You absolutely. So I'm with you there. That using game preservation as a soundbite, which is so far that's all Phil Spencer has done as far as I'm concerned.
The back and pack stuff is impressive. I've been playing some good back and pack games. I don't want to talk down what they have done for old games. Yeah,
no, absolutely.
You've been playing Prototype too,
shit. I can't say shit. Actually, I love that game. I made a video ages ago what games they should bring back, and I heard about Prototype 2. I never got to play it. It's one of those games you always see and you never played it. I played it. It holds up today. Yeah, AI and stuff. It could be epic. Listen to me, Microsoft. Whenever the deal goes through, get that game. Prototype 3. You need a superhero kind of game. That game gives you so many powers. It gave me more powers than I thought the game was broken almost. And I enjoyed it. Never felt you are OP from the start in that game. You are overpowered.
I'm in every game. It's just how I am. How I play.
Yeah, you wish. There's no stealth in that. There's one stealth thing in that, but yeah, the rest of it was insane. Great game. I think there's so much potential. I kind of regret not playing it then. But I'm not diminishing my fun for it. I'm almost doing side missions for that game. Shut up, Gaz. No one cares about Prototype 2. It came out 10 years ago, whatever. Okay. Furi. This is a lot of fury about Furi. I suck. Not getting DLC. So people don't know this. This is an indie title from a studio whose name I forget. And I will bring up because I retweeted that thing. No taker DM'd me. They literally, so basically Furi is a game that a lot of people haven't heard of.
Game Bakers is, I think.
The Game Bakers.
Like
The Game Bakers aren't releasing Furi. Do you know why? Because they have a yeast infection. Get it? No. Oh, no, actually, that's a raw thing to say. Wow. Even I surprised myself with that one. Well, yeah. So basically, Furi this is what they said. Furi, a game that's come out for Xbox, they are not releasing the DLC for the game, but they're releasing for every other platform. They said Furi never captured a lot of attention on Xbox, and unfortunately, we had to prioritize platforms we hope to be developing for Xbox again in the future. Thank you for supporting our games. That pissed people off, particularly those who bought the flipping game, because one, they supported it. Two, okay, I'll lead with this, but let me know what you think. I think, gents, that is a very bad take. A very bad take. Well, a bad position. I understand. I'm hoping it wasn't made lightly. Like, they're a small outfit. They had no choice. We do not have the resources to develop. 7 people bought our game on Xbox. We cannot be wasting resources on DLC if that's the case. But really, when you commit to a platform, that's a commitment you need to see through. And not having DLC out for that platform or future release when you're getting it for other platforms is a bad look. And then the statement is just like, thank you for supporting our games, but you for supporting our games on Xbox. Not a good look. I just find that weird. The other angle is Xbox gamers aren't buying this weird game I've never heard of, but I might have seen it, but there are a lot of stance on this, man. Like, what's your take on it? Asa, I'm still host. Asa, tell me.
So Furi it's like 6 years old, so it's before the days of Game Pass or anything like that. It was like a bullet hell boss rush game that was quite well received when it came out, but it launched on PlayStation Plus. So day and date PlayStation Plus game. It was a small indie, not like a AAA thing, but it was day and date on PlayStation Plus. So pretty much the multi-console owners that wanted to play this game had played it before it released on Xbox like 6 months later. So it not selling well on Xbox was not entirely unexpected, because everyone had an opportunity to play it without paying for it before. Not everyone, you know how services are, but it was already taken up by the people that were particularly interested in it. The game was, like I said, it was well received. I didn't personally particularly get along with it, but it had a nice art style, and it came hot on the heels of a different game that was similar in some capacity, and I really can't remember what. But the statement they've made, I have some sympathy. Like, we try and run GameOnDaily, and you know how many features we want to add to that platform, and we can't afford to do it. So I know where they're coming from in that sense. Like, it's harsh. I'm sure if they could do everything and could afford to, then they would absolutely be putting that on all the platforms. I also understand the perspective of the 4 people that bought it on Xbox. That, like you say, they've put it on there. They've made that decision already, and of course, the people that bought it expect the same level of support as everybody else that bought it. Like, the economics might not work out for the studio, but for the individual that's buying the game, they've not supported that studio any less than anybody else, and arguably more so than the people that just downloaded it for free. So it's a tricky one. Like, sympathy on both sides for that one, and hopefully they'll be able to revisit it and add it, even if it's a little while later. The game came out later and released the DLC later, release the enhancements later, if that's what you need to do. Yeah,
that's a great point. Well said. What's your take on that, Augie? Did you hear about Furi?
I mean, I saw the news about it. I mean, look, this is an indie dev, right? They're not like like loaded up with talent to go make all this happen. As it is, people are having trouble getting things, optimized for series consoles anyway. So I don't blame them. Like, we know the PS4 to PS5 transition, the tooling was the same, so it does make it easier for them. So I get it. And if they can do it, they can do it. That's great. The game's still playable, right? You can still play it in back and pat. You just don't get the DLC, and that is somewhat disappointing. But I kind of can see it, right? If they weren't getting a lot in 2016, what were the numbers for Xbox, right? This was like when we were starting to get the Phil transition, right? So I'm sure it wasn't like a great place to be anyway. So I can see some of these things. They're an issue, and that's fine. But yeah, if they can pull it off afterwards, if they get an influx of cash because of this, great. And if they can put some time in it, great, right? So
yeah.
But for small devs, I tend to just lean towards like, let's be careful and trying to pile on them. It's
that's a great point.
We got to be. I still don't even like to pile on 343, even though it's a massive dev, right? But I still agree with you, Gaz. They should have delayed Halo, but I don't like to pile on devs because I know they're doing their job. They're trying to do what they can, and sometimes constraints just happen. I get it, and this is a small team, so it is what it is. It's disappointing that they can't get it to all the platforms, but okay, right? It'd be nice if they can do it in a year or two. That'd be awesome.
There is, I will agree. So in terms of piling on the developers, there's definitely a case where, like I say, that I'm not like being disparaging when I say the 3 people, 4 people, whatever. We know not many people bought on Xbox and they can't support it on that platform for that reason. There is a lot of piling on from people that have no interest in the game, that haven't bought it and just don't like what they're seeing from the outside. Those people probably should back off the developer, like Kagi's saying there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. A lot of people, a lot of Xbox fans weaponized it, as you would, and just say, hey, I will never support your game. I never even heard of your game. I mean,
alternatively to that point, Asa, is if people really want it, go buy the game, right? Just go right now on Xbox and buy the game. That'll give them more support on that platform, and they'll say, okay, cool.
And maybe they might release
let me spend the effort and do it, right? But if it didn't sell, that's Xbox gamers' fault. Go buy it, right? And that'll give them an idea. Yeah, this game can do well here. So
well, I don't know about. Well, I'm a bit mixed. Like I can't say nope. Vote with your wallet because I'm getting what's his name from Days Gone vibes. He's like, you should buy my games day one. It's almost like, really? There's like it's this. I agree with you, Huggy. It's a great point about the fact that they're indie devs. We shouldn't pile on them. I'm a lot more sympathetic to indies than I am big AAA studios. But yeah, it is what it is. Not a good look for the studio. Might have done some damage to their optics, but then core gamers are a small bunch. Are they actually going to make a discernible difference and adversely impact any performance of theirs on Xbox in the future? Well, and Geekhead188 says, why the is it our fault? Great question. Sauron Grant, thank you for the £1.79 super chat. He goes, Gaz, I feel guilty eating up all the free content. Don't feel guilty. Don't ever feel compelled. Well, please do. We need it.
Don't ever feel compelled. Compel.
No. I'm not one of I will never be one of those. Like, remember, like you see on Twitch, people like, well, if you want my content, you better super chat. Who the are you, man? Shut the flip up. You're sitting on a camera. People get to enjoy your video. Well, that's fine. Be grateful for what you have. I'm always grateful. We all are. That we have 275 people watching us. It took a long time to get there, but we got there and we're grateful. And I mean it. Always are grateful for every super chat. Don't ever feel compelled to do it. But more than anyone in this space, we have probably bigger bills than anyone, and I'm not lying. Have you ever broken even? Well, I don't think we have, but it doesn't matter. I love it. We love it. We love what we do. It does matter. It does matter. And you would be surprised how much it matters. So I'm trying to be nice, but also realistic. I also deleted cold super chat. Great. Control Z. Oh yeah, here we go. Colty, super chat. Xbox cab fix. Not the type you. Xbox can, he's trying to say, fix this game access issue by allowing 1 to 2 days for online check-in.
Fair point.
It's back to Don Matrick is back. Remember the online checking thing that there was supposed to, where the Xbox One was coming? Look, we'll do a very non-invasive check. Maybe you can do it on your mobile. Remember that whole time with Xbox? Thank you. Don Matrick is back. DRM, ladies and gentlemen, is more or less real. So see, yeah, that's crazy. See how Gas even says Z to make you Americans feel compelled. What does it say Z? What was the Z? What is
Control Z?
Huh?
Control Z.
Oh, mother. That's bad. That's bad. Shit, I have too many American friends. Control Z. Oh my
Won't
god.
take offense.
You should be grateful. Grateful. Control Z. Gunstar, where have you been, bro? Thank you so much for the 2 pound super chat. I am listening. Good. I'm glad to see you, bro. Alex Mercer, the prototype. It's always lovely to see you when I'm talking about bloody. Well, it's always lovely to see you when I'm talking about prototype. The guy's committed to the game. A remake of the first game would be dope, to be honest. Thank you for the super chat. I never played the first game. I was in party chat with Colt and Dealer today, and I think Colt or Dealer, or one of them was saying, I think it was Colt, the first game isn't as good as the second one, but let us know what you think, Alex Mercer, in the chat. I'm keeping an eye on it. Dan Lazaro is not complaining. Dan, he's feisty. Thanks for the $2 super chat. Goes, us Gaz on the nose candy. You're everywhere, bro. What the does that mean?
You know exactly what that means, but I'm glad
us
you're
Gaz
avoiding
on
it.
the nose candy. What does it mean? I don't know.
Just move on. It's good.
No, come on. Okay, is this another one of those? Is this another JD?
No, I just don't want you to incriminate yourself, so move on.
Oh my goodness. You don't know what that is? You don't know what nose candy is? Oh my god.
That's nose candy. Okay, you know what? I'm
so
in my innocent mind.
It's not us, it is Gaz on the Wow, dude.
I'm drawing a blank today.
You don't know what that is?
Mind.
Like, Jesus, dude.
What the fuck is killing me? Anyway, never mind. Us Gaz.
He's asking if you're high, buddy. I mean, it's pretty obvious, but anyway.
Us Gaz. What is us Gaz on the nose?
Is Gaz. It's Gaz.
Oh my god, that changes everything. I thought it meant US Gaz. Like I thought they released new candy. Is Gaz on the nose candy? Am I on Charlie? No, I'm not on fucking Coke, bro. If I was on Coke, I'll be dead. A lot of people.
You can only imagine Gaz even more hyper.
People ask me, like I think it was Cole or someone in the pie chat. Gaz, just be honest. Do you take a little bit of Coke when you do the source videos? I never take Coke, man. But
for
I'm
absolute clarity,
glad
this is Gaz on cheese on toast.
you saw me have it, and 1 cup of coffee sets me off. I have a very naturally high energy. ADHD does that too. God, oh my god, that took me so. It was a typo. I'm allowed to be confused on that one. Patrick, thank you for being Game On. Even that's annoying me now. Thank you for being the GameOnDaily elite member, man. Thank you, Patrick. Welcome to the elite selling crew. Only the UK people will get that reference, unless they watch Phone Shop in America, which would be weird, but also pretty cool. Great show. God, the nose candy put me off there. Yeah, so we talked. Hey, that wasn't as bad as JD Up's super chat earlier. Delete that topic. Not talking about Halo Season 2. I'm not allowed to do it anymore. You guys don't like it. I understand. Delete topic. I hope you enjoyed it. Summer Games Fest got announced, and it's when is it? Wait,
9th?
Didn't get the date.
June 9th, I think.
So just before the Xbox.
Yeah.
3 days before, yeah.
Is it going to be a shit show? Is it going to be good?
You want expectations? I'll give you my.
What's your host? What the three of us?
Ian, my expectation for that particular show is a couple of random Twitch streamers saying, "Come and watch this show on my channel" every 30 minutes, just like the last one.
Is that what? Oh, it's like the last one.
That's just like the Game Awards. Come and watch this with us. No, you seem boring. Besides that, like the Game Awards, I mean, E3's absolutely gone this year. Some people are going to work with Xbox and show things. Everybody else that wants to show things is going to be doing it here, and it still has, in terms of time window and marketing opportunities, it's the same as E3 was. So you're going to see big things at this show for sure. It's going to be padded out with a lot of the bad kind of adverts, and you can say that the whole show is adverts. That's fair enough, but there's a difference between game reveals and come on, watch this on my Twitch channel, and buy this energy drink or whatever else they have in there. So we know that it's going to be a slightly balanced towards the stuff we don't want to see, but there will be a lot of games there for sure. There will be a lot of games there, which isn't going into speculation on exactly who's going to be there and what they're going to show, because Hargeet knows all of that.
Yeah,
I don't. Well, I will say this: I know Microsoft will be there because they seem to like Keighley, right? So something will be there from Microsoft. I don't know what it'll be, but I'm sure they will be on that stage as well. So I mean, I usually like his shows. I don't know if people like are averse to his. I usually like it. The last one was also pretty good. It showed us. I think was Elden on that one as well. Yeah, I think that was Elden, right? Which was a huge announcement. They had other ones that I thought were pretty cool too. So I liked the Summer Games Fest last time, so I'll probably like it this time. I think when I rated for me the shows, I like the Microsoft one first, and then Summer Game Fest, and then the Devolver one. Devolver's is always funny. I don't know if they'll do one this time as well, but there's always lit. So I'm definitely looking forward to it if they do it again. But yeah, I think it'll be good. And to Ace's point, there's going to be all the third parties that want to put there are games out there, so this might be the avenue for a lot of that. So yeah, it should be hopefully interesting. This is the stuff that's coming in the fall for third parties, right? So why not? There'll be some on Microsoft stage, obviously, but Microsoft kind of has a lot of their own too. So we'll have to see how much they can really fit in, and especially after ABK. It's going to be tough for them to do a lot of third-party reveals and stuff, right? It's because they'll just have so much of their own to do that might become, it might be like a 3-hour show at that point. And you kind of have to like pare it down to maybe a couple of things for third parties, and it's going to be a lot of their own. So this is going to get more. I don't know if E3 is coming back. If it does, that's great. But otherwise, it's going to be this, right? Keighley's show is going to be something big. It has to be somewhere. So.
Yeah, no, when it was announced, a lot of people's take was immediately, oh man, Xbox has so much stuff to show, and I thought that was weird. I'm like, wait, what? What does that mean? How do you know? What was that got? Xbox has so many games. Is that why you think that Xbox can have a strong show on the Keighleys? I agree with you, Augie, about Keighleys. I don't watch them live because I know they're just a massive ad fest.
Yeah, some of those are annoying.
They are, but I watch it after the show.
I watch them live as much as I can, right? It depends on the time of the day. In this case, I think it's in the middle of a work day. That makes it challenging. If there's meetings and whatnot you have to be at, it's like, okay, well, I may not be able to watch it live. So to your point, that might end up happening anyways for me. It's in your evening, I think, right? So you could watch it live. So.
Okay, I mean, we'll always watch it live together if we're doing a thing, but
let's watch it with the random Twitch streamers that are promoted on it for some reason.
Oh my god!
And this is no disrespect. I'm a Twitch streamer, love it, fine, but
hey, maybe we should have a GameOnDaily ad.
Yeah, we will for the Source video. I've been working on things for ages, just terribly disorganized.
Let's talk to Jeff. Let's go,
Jeff. Yeah, come on, Jeff. Give us some ideas. Let's just get some ads on there. We'll probably charge an arm and a leg. But do you not think that then, with E3 out of the picture, this is Asa Keighley, if he's got any brains, I'm sure he does. But this is the time to capitalize, to really put the nail in the coffin in E3 and say, you know what, I have to do everything to make this, of all the shows he's done, this one needs to be really strong. That means people question why we even need E3.
Yeah, I mean, he absolutely is capitalizing on it in every way that he can. Like every time the ESA, the company that runs E3, say anything negative, he's in there with a tweet 5 minutes later about what he's doing. He's definitely trying to draw that audience over and that marketing budget over, right? So E3 took a lot of money from publishers and Jeff wants it and he's getting it. I don't know that he necessarily, his shows are good in terms of content, and I would love to see him sacrifice a little bit of the fluff and filler ads that we were talking about. I don't see it happening because he's not really got any competition at the moment, has he? So are the ESA and E3 ever going to come back? I'm not sure if that even matters what Jeff does at this point. They're in a bit of a state, so.
Yeah, no, exactly. But that's what gives me hope that this one could be something really special, because a lot is riding on it. Colt Eastwood says, why am I saying his full name? Colt Eastwood. I'm glad Keighley has a platform. Now we can see what PlayStation is working on since they left E3 years ago. That's a great point. It's been a while since PlayStation has been in. One thing. Can you chat? You're gonna help me make my next video. I did how every game Xbox is working on video, which is, I did well, right? I was going to do a PlayStation one. I'm struggling because what are they working on apart from Wolverine, Spider-Man, whatever the Last of Us factions? I'm struggling. Well, I'm guessing here. So
11 live service games and more remasters of The Last of Us, remake of The Last of Us, supposedly.
Yes, exactly.
And some other stuff. I don't know.
Well, so Haven Studios has a game coming. We don't know what it is, right? It's not been revealed.
It's a multiplayer.
It's assumingly it's multiplayer, right? Live service, probably. So we know Insomniac's got like the Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine, right? So that's probably what they're working on for the next foreseeable future. The Last of Us remake. Yeah, I don't know, but they're working on something else. Is that actually
true? Is that a joke?
No, they're remaking, right? So they had
the first one.
They had a remaster, right, in PS4 gen, right? It's a PS3 game. They remastered it in PS4 gen, and then they're remastering for the PS5 gen.
Are you serious? The first one,
but
is that confirmed or speculation?
No,
it's
this was the whole Ben
but it's
Studio
quite
thing.
Strong speculation, right?
Yeah, this is the whole Ben Studio thing.
God.
Yeah. So they took it over, right? Naughty Dog is actually doing that one now. And then they have another game they're working on. So there's something coming there.
Can't make a video on that. And
that's the problem. It's nothing announced, right? But there are like hints of things that they're working on. But they're not announced. So it is kind of tough to, like Housemarque's working on something, and was it Blue
Sucker
Point
Punch
that they bought?
Yeah, that's like
Blue Point they bought, right?
Blue Point,
like exactly. So everybody's got something potentially cooking. We just don't know when it comes out, what it is, right? So, and then we don't know how long this gen is, right? So that's another problem. So could those games come in the next gen or this gen? I don't know.
Let's just make a YouTube short, guys. Yeah, that would actually. I'd be struggling for a minute to say what game they're working on.
You're right. They haven't really released much. That is a problem. And, so like... It would be nice for them to tell us, okay, this is the roadmap. They kind of gave it, was it 25? I think I was talking to Colt about this.
Colt, yeah.
There's 25 games that are in the works. That included, by the way, like Forza Horizon Forbidden West, and GT7, and Ragnarok, which supposedly are coming out soon. So Ragnarok, by the way, is another one. We don't know when that's coming out, right? So that could be coming soon-ish, hopefully. Maybe it comes out next year.
On the point of Ragnarok, did you see David Jaffe?
He's got a point.
Bro, man, the guy's got some massive balls, bro, because he has said it's definitely slipping, and it's slipping into and if it does slip, he's gonna what's it called? He's gonna wear a MAGA hat for a week or 2 weeks on the show. Why? He's super left as well, wearing a MAGA hat. What the flip?
But I mean, his points are valid. That like, if all we've seen is like somebody on Twitter saying that I think it's coming. I'm pretty sure it's coming this year. Whatever. But your main guy there is not saying that. So it's a valid point, right? If there was any timeline hint, then they would say it. They don't have one. Yeah. So and Sony didn't come out and say anything to rebut it one way or the other, or even the studio coming out and saying, "Oh no, this is what's happening." So
I don't know if he's right there, but sorry, I'm looking at this Flash Jackson with a $50 bloody super chat. Says the Sourceverse exists. Do you know how many takes I did for that? Sourceverse exists. I'll need to do the bloopers. It'd be funny. Very, very generous of you, Flush. Thank you so much for that. That's very generous of you. But yeah, just motivates me to do the next source video even better. There's a reason why I went for the Sourceverse, by the way. There's too many secrets there. There are Easter eggs in the video no one has clocked. That's all I will say.
Yeah,
there are some mad Easter eggs there. But thank you so much for that. I can't wait to show the next few videos or the Sourceverse series. Flush, very, very generous of you. Thank you so much for that. Lovely guy, man. And that money's gonna go. Well, I bought a prop that cost twice that. But for the next source video, you do what we do. I hope you loved it. I loved it. Loved the source video. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, what else is there to say? I think we've covered everything.
I think real quickly. And like on the Sony thing, like I know they don't have that much announced, and the stuff that they have announced, like Wolverine, I'd rather not know because it's so far out, right? But I'm not concerned for their output. Like they've earned some trust in that regard. They've done all right this generation so far. So
yeah.
I
mean, I asked that question. I knew you were gonna make that point about the fact that they've done typically well with being secretive, but I do think that in terms of, like Huggy, you mentioned roadmap, maybe not much of a roadmap, but people want to see what's in store for the future. And if it's just Wolverine and Spider-Man, I think there needs to be a little bit more. And whereas Xbox, out, you know loads of things, whether or not they pan out to be good games or not. Remains to be seen. But Perfect Dark, you've got Starfield, you've got Elder Scrolls. Even that alone is those years away. Fable, that's big. These are big games, Avowed. It's just there's a lot there. I can't. So in my last video with the Xbox one, I said I'm doing a PlayStation video next. Opened up Word to make a list. I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do here. I want to make more PlayStation content, even though a lot of our viewers are Xbox guys. But I like to cover all of them. I think, but I just can't with that. I'm sorry. Maybe this Keighley show will unveil that.
Well, I mean, if you want to count their third-party stuff, right? They do have some, second-party deals and whatnot. But
I don't want to enable that shit. No one cares about it. It's all about first party. Yeah, I know what you mean. I thought about it.
Party, if you're only looking at first party, then I mean, even last year they only had 2 first-party games, right?
Yeah.
And this year they've had 3 so far. They might have Ragnarok, and that's it, right? So they'll probably have 2 or 3 next year. That's their typical output. So
yeah, absolutely. We should do a poll if people think whether or not Ragnarok will come out this year. Shabs with the £3 super chat. Thank you so much, man. What is that? It's a pear or apricot or something weird. Thank you for that.
Well, can you put one in? I don't know. You own the chat, right? You can actually put one in. You can put in a poll.
Yeah, but I don't like doing what Gaz suggests.
He hates it.
Will Ragnarok come out this year?
Yeah,
what this chat thinks, I guess. But
I can't. How do you do it? /poll?
No. Oh, fine.
How do you do it? Just tell me how to do it. Learn live now. I don't even see the option. Asa doesn't teach me things.
Asa doesn't have to teach you things you can learn.
I mean, I just look. Where's the option? Someone, Colt, you're in chat. Tell me how to do it. How to do a poll. Anyway. Poor Gaz, yeah. Capono, you're right. It's fuck. Yes, everyone click yes. But yeah, before we end the show, thank you. Shout out to 300 people watching. Smash the like button. 300 real people. Don't want to invoke the bots again, but yeah, thank you for watching. Before we end the show, though, who won the game last week? I always forget.
I don't carry on with that, but we do need to talk about the Fortnite thing. That's a fairly big topic.
Oh shit! I completely missed that. That was the second topic as well. I completely missed that. Asa, as you talk, I'm just going to pull the comment on that.
Okay, sure. So make sure you vote no on that poll, or it's null and void because that's what I want to see. So xCloud or whatever, I don't think Microsoft like to call it xCloud, but Microsoft's cloud streaming service for Xbox has Fortnite on it now for free. You don't need any subscription to Game Pass, you don't need Xbox Live Gold, you don't need anything. You can just log onto it and play Fortnite on your Apple device or your Android device or your Microsoft device right now through the cloud, which is significant for a multitude of reasons, which I'm going to let Hagi talk through because we had a little chat before the show and I know that he knows what's going on. So Hagi, why is this so significant?
So the Fortnite on xCloud it's interesting because there's this big spat right between Epic and iOS, right, and Apple about the iOS store taking a part of the microtransaction fees, which I agree with Apple that if you're on their platform, you should do that. They didn't want to do that. So Apple has pulled Fortnite off of the Apple store. So if you had it, you had it. If not, then you're not going to have it. And this is a way to get around that, right? So you will have a browser on an iOS device and you can play xCloud, or whatever they call it. Is it cloud streaming?
xCloud?
Yeah, but xCloud was like their... Yeah, that was their code name for it, but whatever. But you can play it. Now they added Fortnite to that. So you could play Fortnite again on an iOS device, which is an interesting bypass. And I wonder if a lot of companies will start looking at that because, like it is a revenue thing. But here's the thing, Microsoft does charge you the same 30% if you're going through their store, right? But they don't have the same cross charge issue, right? So whereas Sony said you have to pay them, and in the case of you want to buy these things, you could buy them online through Epic, right? And not, so maybe they're just looking at it like, okay, maybe we can push people to use the browser and go to our site and pay there, and then therefore Epic makes the money instead of going to Xbox to buy it there, right? So this is an interesting thing. We'll see what happens. But if it was to bypass the store, they're in the same situation using it on xCloud, right? Because they would be buying it through Xbox's store. So
that's the really curious point about the whole lawsuit, because Epic, with Microsoft support, not just through this, but through a few other things as well, are really gunning hard for Apple and Android for charging 30% on their platforms for any transactions and not letting them bypass it. They're not going after PlayStation and Xbox, who have, as far as we know, exactly the same 30% fee. Yeah. I'm sure that Epic have negotiated a lower fee, and this is possibly like the crux of the issue, is Epic have probably, we know from various things that we've seen from the legal proceedings that Tim Sweeney and Epic like to throw their weight around, and it is very possible that they've negotiated a better transaction rate with PlayStation and with Xbox for Fortnite that Apple just weren't that interested in, and Android just weren't that interested in. The whole lawsuit. Now let's go positives first, right? Being able to play games that it's free to play games, but they've also talked about potentially games that you've bought and own and all kinds of things. Being able to play games through this streaming service through means other than Game Pass, that's a positive move, and it's going to bring things to a lot of people. But it makes me kind of worry for gaming a little bit, because like these are shark infested waters at the moment with massive corporations throwing their weight around, and the end result isn't necessarily better than gaming was 10 years ago. That's my concern for it when I see these massive corporations, because they don't care about us, and the more their plan succeeds and the more gaming grows to a new audience, the less we matter, like statistically. It's just the way it is. It doesn't matter that we object to NFTs or we object to microtransactions. They're not going to care as much because they'll have other people playing games. And I don't know, you see these kind of things, and it's a significant battle. I mean, Microsoft obviously have more interest than just gaming in terms of software on iPhones and Android devices, right? So there's a big strategic play from them that Xbox is like a tool in. I don't know, it just makes me slightly uncomfortable because I'm always slightly skeptical about commercialization of my favorite hobby, and you see it in action and go, oh, is this going to end up, is this really for the best for me? I don't know, and I only really care about what's best for me, so we'll see though. We'll see.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Your poll votes are interesting. Thank you, people. Yeah, I get these goosebumps every time.
I'm sorry to say, only 90 people out of all the people here have voted, so this poll is null and void for lack of turnout.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are an this is a dictatorship. The dictatorship. I'm sorry, the democracy has crumbled. Acer has been acquired by Tencent. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I don't give a shit about that thing. Okay, one thing I'll say, I started playing Fortnite on the topic of Fortnite with Obi. Xbox Obi was on our show. Shout out to him. And yo, that game is actually amazing in the no build mode. But do you know why? If you haven't played Fortnite or not in a while, I jumped in there and I was just like a kid. All these skins, everyone is like Spider-Man or I don't know, Spider-Man, John Wick or something else, a Master Chief. I was just like a kid. No wonder that game is like crack. It's the game. I was like, my wallet was out, but I just like, okay, I'm not even gonna play this game. What about? Oh, I should really just flash my.
Hey, so we need an intervention.
Freeze frame for Gazzy's bank details.
Literally that. But yeah, it's just it was crazy. Fortnite is amazing. The game was fun. Nothing on Apex Legends, but skins. It's crazy. It's like crack. Speaking of crack, Dan Lazaro, thank you for the $2 super chat, guys. Cocaine is a hell of a drug. Quoting Rick James, bitch. Amazing skit. If you think the Souls videos of those are nothing compared to the OG Dave Chappelle. On that note, did anyone see someone try and rush Dave Chappelle? He got this kicked out of him, man. Fully. Oh, that was so stupid. Really well there. No, man. Dave Chappelle. I know ASAP. That's not TMZ, but come on, you can't touch Dave Chappelle, and we know talk about it. The guy got beaten the crap out, as you should. Protect our comedians. Mostly so I don't want any flavor. Sony fanboys come after me, throw some pie in my face. Patrick, thank you for the $5 super checkers. I think this is the beginning of xCloud coming out of the beta. Other free play to games will no doubt follow Fortnite. Maybe. They've put a lot of effort into that. What do you think about that, Augie? Do you think this signals the end of the beta? The beta's been going on for ages.
Maybe. I mean, so they haven't gotten to 4K yet. So I don't know if that's going to be a part of the, final release. It depends. If they're happy with 1080, then they could come out of beta. But I think that is one of the things I would look for, especially since Stadia was already doing it, right? So that's something they should probably strive to get to. Maybe they don't care. But as far as other free-to-play games, that could definitely happen. That is an interesting model for them. Though I think, somebody was mentioning they need to have another tier, because paying $15 a month to get access to xCloud is going to start to look kind of dumb. Right? They should just have a cloud-only option, and that might be a lower tier service, so it's a little cheaper. But anyways, it's an interesting thought. Maybe they should be looking at that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But a lot of people, in fact, the comment of the week, it is the person who submitted the IGN article. Thank you for that. It's Purple Tree Frog on this very topic. So on the topic of where Xbox Everywhere initiative lets you purchase games on cloud gaming, he said, "This is something I've been hoping for since they first released xCloud. I regularly use game streaming when it's quiet at work. Don't tell anyone, but my Xboxes won't always connect. Being able to properly stream my games without having to connect to my Xbox will make life so much easier. This is coming into place and there's also a fantastic argument for ending cross-gen made game." That's the point. That's why I picked this one. I want cloud to go ahead so we can go end this cross-gen crap. So I get it, it's not ideal not a replacement for native play, but the more this gains traction, the more likely, more people, and Huggy, you've got a video that I need to work tomorrow on this, but cloud is the future, then we can say goodbye to this cross-gen crap that's gone on for ages. Are you not sick, chat? Are you not sick of bloody Xbox Series, Xbox One and PS4 games now? So yeah, shout out to Purple Tree Frog. You win a game of your choice. Sometimes it's a ball ache finding these game codes online, but we are working with Enaba hopefully very soon to get those integrated into the website. So, and they've got a great platform there. But yeah, congratulations to you. He also says, granted, PlayStation doesn't have this feature, but if they're determined to trail behind in this regard, then it's their problem. And absolutely right. So shout out Purple Tree Frog. Oh, you're in the chat. Shout out to you. Let us know what game you want. Let me know in the chat and I'll try and find it. But congratulations. And thank you for commenting. And there were hardly any comments. So people, comment, use this website. Yeah, do it. G-Man with a $2 super chat. Thank you so much. With no message. So, but I appreciate the support. Thank you so much. Shabs with the £2 super chat has only managed to hack £2 out of Gaz's account. You'll find more debt there than the Square Enix. What the Embracer acquisition. Jokes on you people. But yeah, that was it. That's all I've got for the topics, gents. I thought it was kind of fun. It was really chilled. Us three can carry conversations. This bodes well for the future in the extra show. But yeah, absolutely. Shabs with the £1.49 cake. super chat. Thank you again for that. I need to start using those because I've only seen that on our show, and I think it's all in the Iron Lords. But yeah, gents, anything to chat? Anything to add? June will be good. Yes, it will. I think that's it, gents. I think we've covered most of the big news.
Did you read the second one from G-Man? I don't know if you saw that.
G-Man? G-Man in a second chat. I always miss it. I am piece of crap. G-Man, thank you for the $2 super chat. Because Xbox does go down the week after adding FN. Oh, yeah. I don't think they're connected. I don't think they're connected. The issues, unless their server setup is that feeble, but I don't think so. But yeah, bad look. It's a bad look. But yeah, can't wait for cloud to become a thing. I truly believe in it, but not as much as Hargeet does, which you will see in his video on this channel next week. Yes. But yeah, thank you everyone. Faisal in the chat, thank you so much for the super chat. He goes for longer source videos. And what's up with Game Pass bad takes from journalists? Why are they so threatened? Thank you, Faisal. I know exactly what you're talking about because that's what we talked about in my last video. Maybe there is some genuine concern there, but I don't know. I don't know. Well, let's see. We'll see. We'll have to save some stuff for next week. Next week, I have a feeling we're going to see something big next week in the news. Maybe. But yeah, shout out to everyone in the chat. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the show. Sheriff, no, I didn't have biryani today. Christopher Jones, thank you for the super chat. He goes, join me on the stag do in Cardiff. It's a source. I've never been to Cardiff, actually. I would. Where's the well, that's the invite, but it's a bit late. Do you really want me there? It's going to get messy. But yeah, shout out everyone in chat. Please smash the like button. We've got a lot more content coming. Thank you so much for the generous super chats, all of them. And before we go, Huggy.
Yo.
Say things.
Say things. Well, let's see what happens with the next acquisition. I mean, the Square thing would be interesting if it. I mean, I thought they were stuck with Bungie, but if Sony manages to pull that off along with acquiring Bungie, that's an interesting thing. So I don't know if that is anything that's going to happen anytime soon, but we don't know, right? So we'll see. Yeah, it'll be an interesting time to start getting all the leaks that are likely going to be coming about Game Fest and Xbox's showcase, and I don't know if there's going to be other ones too, right? So we'll see if there are more announcements of other showcases that'll come around at the same time, right? So we'll see what happens. Hopefully Nintendo does something, but maybe they'll just go to Game Fest, right? So the Summer Fest. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to Community Game Night. Hopefully we'll be playing Halo Season 2. So yeah, we'll see. Wouldn't
it be like really awesome if there weren't any leaks for either of them? Like, how good would that be to just watch these shows without any leaks prior? Yeah. But
I know. Absolutely. I hope so. I hope we have no leaks, because leaks, I get it. We're desperate to talk about news, and what do you do as content creators? Talk about with your audience, but at the same time, we want to be surprised the same way as the studios want us to be surprised. It's just like for me, if someone saw an early bit of source video that got leaked, I would be devastated because so much work goes into it. But compared to making a game, what the hell? Nah, man. They work on it for years.
There's this other interesting thing where they're like sending out this potential to do an in-person viewing, I guess. I'm not sure if it's viewing or if they're actually going to be there of the, Microsoft.
You're not supposed to say that. Who told you that?
What are you talking about? This is emails, right? The emails came out.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. So I assume people who have
I thought you just talked about some NDA stuff.
I'm not under any NDA with Xbox.
Oh yeah, neither am I. So, I'm hearing stuff through the grapevine that there's something.
Yeah, I got 2 emails about it.
I made it worse.
Good lord, yes you have. So I'm going to be like doing some VR and some streaming and stuff, and like there's videos in the works. What are you up to this week, Gaz?
Apart from putting people in hot water on NDAs I haven't signed, I will be working on I'm editing Hargeet's Wicked video, and I will be finishing Prototype, and I'm also working on the next Source video. If you saw the end of this one, today's one, you will see the ending is alluding to where the next source goes, and then the next one. There's a lot of Easter eggs there people don't realize. But yeah, that's what I'm working on. Content creating. I create more content than I play games now. So everyone's gonna be like, your gamer score sucks. You don't play games. I play on PC. I play on everything. But what do you want? Do you want me to make videos, or do you want me to play video games?
Does Prototype 2 have achievements?
It does, actually. Yeah, it does. I don't care about achievements, but it does.
No.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. It's a good game. Check it out. People, please check out that game.
No, check out. In fact, I was really happy when I saw it. So last week's competition winner was Quackshot, and he chose the Stanley Parable. Let the Stanley Parable play you if you haven't already. That's all I'm going to say. That's
I need to play
phenomenal.
Finch.
But don't look up anything about it. Don't go. I want to know what this phenomenal game is. Just get it and let it play. That's all I'm saying.
Stanley's Parable. Yeah. Okay. I need to play that. I need to play Edith Finch. You know, Kane was talking about this game is amazing. It's amazing. I want to play that. Have you guys played that? Because that's supposed to be amazing. Yeah. There's nothing you haven't played.
There's plenty I haven't played, but yeah. But I have played a lot. So
yeah, we need to finish It Takes Two. My God, that game is amazing.
Yep.
But yeah, no, absolutely. Gaz, both of you are lightweight. Sleeps is optional. Others are not. Who says I sleep? Who says I sleep?
I know, right?
Edith Finch is amazing. Oh, I'm gonna play that. Definitely gonna play that. Thank you, everyone in chat. Oh, maybe we should talk more about games. But then, do people want to hear us talking about old game? I don't know. I don't want the show. Fuck it, just end the show. If you listen to us on Spotify and Apple, please, I don't know, can you upvote? Just, enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it. Any feedbacks, please let us know on GameOnDaily. I respond to all messages. And we will see you next week. I don't want to go, but we'll see you next week. And we have another show in the works. So please check it out. Love you all massively. Take care. Peace out. And see you soon.
Shut up.